Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Who won poker the other night?
Oh boy. Keith. Okay, it was you.
Yes, right. Because I was confused because there were so many people I had to beat, and I beat them all. Right. So that was.
I gotta say that's a big win. You know, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So now you have to beat out 2 tables worth of people, and yeah.
Well,
good job.
That's what it is. Anyway, I have fun news for everybody. Our game show Silent Trailers is now featured in the New York Times.
Yeah.
They called it the ultimate guessing game. The ultimate.
That's because I'm guessing who Tom Cruise is every time.
Right. Thank you, Sean McCarthy. And you, dear listener, what are you waiting for? If you're a Keith and the Girl VIP member, you have a free ticket. Use your code to get a ticket or use it towards a backstage pass. KeithandtheGirl.com/VIP. That's how you become a VIP member if you're not already. Silent Trailers is tomorrow, Saturday, March 20th. Backstage tickets will close tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So get your ticket right now. KeithandtheGirl.com/tickets. You excited, Chemda?
I am. It's an incredible lineup. I love this game. I look forward to it. And I learn about movies. You know, there are a lot of them out there.
There are. There's more than Drop Dead Fred. Here's what Greg says.
What's interesting is there's a lot of movies out there, but not a lot of actors.
That's true, comparatively.
Yeah.
Greg writes, hi, I've been a listener for 5 years. This past year, I needed you more than ever, as I've heard other fans say. You helped me get through the panic of the pandemic and laugh through some very serious times. This weekend is no different. It's my husband, Charlie, and my 2-year anniversary.
Oh.
We're not going to go out, but I want to be able to celebrate. We'll be champagne in hand for Silent Trailers as our night out this Saturday.
Sweet.
Thank you for your show, the endless laughs, and years of entertainment you provided. Shout out to Xerxes, Greg. Well, there you go. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, Greg and Charlie, together forever, in a tree.
I love my husband. If you want to see the New York Times articles that we're in, check out our social media, including Reddit. We're at Keith and the Girl across all platforms. Do say hi, all right? I'm very excited about tomorrow. Nervous, but excited. I'm fucking hard over it. Oh, speaking of hard, let me mention this. Blue Chew, I'm a big fan, and I'm not just talking shit. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. And I'm reading here, Blue Chew's tablets combat all forms of ED and can help men gain extra confidence when it's time to perform. They know the stigma around ED. They don't even spell it out. They go,
that's the thing.
ED.
Yeah, everybody knows it. I was about to be like, by the way, ED stands for erectile dysfunction. But like, if we're just saying ED casually, that means everybody knows. That means a lot of people are experiencing it, and it could really, get into your head or whatever. So grab one of these and feel free.
And yeah, right. And once I've been there, once it's in your head, hey, am I performing? It just eats itself, and it's a mess, and you're a fucking dork. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Ships right to your door. Discreet package. I've been in a situation before. I've used Blue Chew. I've been in a situation before where I had an argument, and we solved the argument, but then the woman wanted to have sex right after. And to me, I'm like, I don't know. I still need a little. I can't have that fix-it sex. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine, but we really did yell, and I need a second. And then I ordered Blue Chew tablets. Maybe I should work on why we're fighting all the time. But the situation happened again. I took a Blue Chew tablet, and I love her, and I'm into this, and everything just came together, and boom, pals again.
Yeah, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's just and this comes to your house. So, I feel like in this society we're embarrassed to buy condoms, we're embarrassed to buy, right, anything that's like reproductively oriented or sex oriented. So here it is, nice and packaged for you, subtle, and you can enjoy yourself.
Here's a special deal. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code KATG at checkout. That's what I want. When you're thinking hard-ons, I want you to think of us. I use promo code KATG at checkout Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew, CHEW.com. Promo code KATG. Receive your first month free. And thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the podcast. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest. If you don't recognize the name, you'll easily recognize the face. Comedian for decades. I think he's fantastic. Comedian, actor, author, historian. You might have seen him on X-Files, Larry Sanders, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Silicon Valley, Crashing, 50 First Dates, 40-Year-Old Virgin, 40-Year-Old Virgin. I got the wrong movie. Legally Blonde, everything. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Federman. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here and to follow that commercial. It feels good.
It's good to see you. Apparently, no one can do a show unless they have you come on in and guest on it. So I'm glad we finally started our show. Thank you, Wayne, for being here.
I'm thrilled. Thrilled to be here.
When I read that you're also a historian.
I noticed that you
how do they mean?
It means that I am an expert on a couple fields, and one of them, because I'm a published author,
right?
On one is on a basketball player named Pete Maravich, a little before your time. Probably
Pistol
don't know.
Pete. Pistol Pete. Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
What's so great about Pistol Pete that of all basketball players, you chose him?
Blue Chew. They don't call him Pistol Pete for nothing.
He's let me put it this way. He still holds the record for the most average points as a college player in the history of the game. Held that record since 1970. So what are we in now? So that's 50 some years, right?
Mm-hmm.
51 years.
Well, I didn't know I had to do math.
Yeah.
I thought you were a historian.
So he has that, and he's one of the most spectacular players, like you and Chemda, in the Hall of Fame, top 50 player, and then dies at age 40. They open up they do a little autopsy. They find out he had didn't have a left coronary artery. Shouldn't have lived to the age of 20, let alone play basketball, let alone set scoring records. And then he was just a phenomenal basketball player. They're still talking about him today. So it's sort of a Shakespearean story.
Could he jump higher and stuff because he didn't have all the organs you're supposed to have?
There's just part of his heart that was missing.
Every little thing helps, right? Your bike.
So you feel like he was lighter because he didn't have a left coronary artery?
I don't know. I was seeing one of these commercials where they were about inspiration, and they're showing this guy. He's like, "Hey, look, I run track and field, even though I have springs for legs." It's
right.
Because you have springs for legs, your joints don't hurt. I could bounce all day.
This is Keith he is like the ultimate optimist, right? You're not missing a leg. You gained a spring.
Yeah.
It's like very Buddhist of him.
To me, I read it. You found that I found he was more mocking a guy who's trying to get through life as a double amputee. Like you look at it as like he has an advantage because he has springs, so he doesn't have to worry about pain.
If I look over to my left and I got to race against the kangaroo, I don't go, I got this one easy.
I gotcha.
No, I'm nervous.
I hear you. So anyway, that was Pete Maravich. And now I am because I teach, believe it or not, at USC, this history of stand-up and performance class. And then I've written a book and I did a podcast about it. I feel like I'm sort of a let's put it, a cultural historian as opposed to a legitimate historian.
You say that Mark Twain is overly praised too much. Explain. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's you do know me.
Who's the greatest comic of all time?
It's subjective, so there is no answer, but thank you for asking me a question that there can't be an answer to. If you were asking me, I would say my opinion, again, doesn't have to be you, would be Richard Pryor for a couple of reasons, but that's just one guy's opinion.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't need a professor telling me it's one guy's opinion if I'm paying money
so
at
just
USC.
Stop saying that. That I'm saying it is self-evident that it's one guy's opinion.
Just say the answer. Say,
I got you.
I don't want to leave going. Apparently, it could be anybody. Anyway, that was $5,000. The other day, I was talking about I passed one of those free COVID test places. And
yes.
I know it's been a year, and I'm just talking about the test, but I don't go anywhere and I don't do anything. And I got my results back, Chemda. And they give you a number to text with your name and name and birthday. And they said, congrats, greetings. They didn't say congrats.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
greetings,
what?
congrats. They said greetings. Sorry. Your nasal
that's you being an optimist again.
Yeah,
Congrats.
your nasal swab for coronavirus was performed in our office, and the result was negative. If you need a hard copy of the laboratory result, blah, blah, blah. And then during this time of COVID-19 pandemic, I strongly advise you to continue social distancing, wear a mask when around other people, and particularly when unable to practice social distancing, wash hands soon after any contact with others, and whenever possible, thanks so much, sincerely, blah, blah, blah.
They can't tell you what to do.
Right. And so I said, you know what's funny, though? Like
that Wayne got nervous when I said that.
No, I love the banter.
It easily, I don't know this place's credentials. It was in somebody's law office that he wasn't using anymore. You know, it is just I could be framed for a murder. I don't know what they're swabbing up, but seems legit so far.
Oh, shit. Where's your optimism there?
So I said, does this mean I never had the virus? And they said, that means you don't have the virus now. The test to find out if you had the virus is an antibodies test. However, that is not very accurate, and it is also not FDA approved. I wrote back, I knew it! These motherfuckers out there, I was saying this the other day, Wayne, where they're like, hey, I got the antibodies. And I'm like, that means you fucked up! What are you doing bragging? Do you feel this way at all?
Well, not with that level of anger, but I will say this.
Yes.
That's first of all, at one point, I thought you were segging into a commercial about free testing.
You never know.
I was just backing off the whole thing. I was like, where's this going? Secondly, basically what they told you was nothing. There was like, there's no way of knowing whether you had it, whether you didn't. And even that test isn't FDA approved. So.
Yeah, but so these people, I mean, we're getting to the end. Maybe it doesn't matter, but don't be bragging you have the antibodies. And also, it doesn't seem to matter.
Right, because that test, yeah.
But I'm in the clear right of now. So it's very exciting.
Congratulations.
I know they didn't say it in the email, but we're going to say it, right?
Yeah, you know, Wayne said congratulations. I'm going to stick with greetings.
Oh, okay.
Do you know they're making? You remember, that show You with the guy who gets obsessed with a woman, then follows her around, and he's got his little blue hat, so you can't tell where he's at ever. That hides him, and if he focuses, he can hear your conversation from across a crowded nightclub. Well, picture now, it's going to come back. Are they going to give him one of those masks? Because now he can sneak in anywhere. You give him a mask with that blue hat, he's going to be walking in the White House front door. I'm excited.
So cheesy right now.
I wish I knew this show. But I don't.
Imagine it was brilliant.
Okay. It's pretty good.
This is a guy who stalks a woman, can hear a conversation across the room. Does he have X-ray? Does his eyes good, or is it just his ears are?
No,
hyper?
he's just in love. So when you're in love, you really listen. And when you really listen to a woman, you could hear her from across the room. Either that, or they're just saying it's pretty shrill and just kind of like, crosses. Okay. Yeah. But it was a good show. The second season I thought was pushing it. Can I say? Like, I don't know, but the first season I was on edge and also annoyed, but also on edge. So maybe I like that.
Right.
Was it romantic at all, or was it just creepy?
Very.
If it was 1980s and it was like romance, it's exactly 1980s romance, where like big gestures and like, I love you so much, I'll kill you is like an actual thing. Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to get better. It's just, he just did it because he doesn't understand, emotions. That's for women. So yeah, 1980s, mad love.
How are you holding up, by the way, during the pandemic? Are you getting antsy? Have you been performing?
I have been just doing the Zoom shows. And then today I got my first vaccination because I'm a teacher, as you know, teacher,
I heard,
cultural historian.
Right.
So that's right now. At any moment, I could go into an anaphylactic shock. So just be ready for that.
What kind of warnings did they give you? Did they tell you?
I don't have the paper with me right now, but they said that could happen. But so far, how do I sound? Am I being just coherent? What I'm saying?
Wow, it's the first time we met. What the fuck would I know?
I don't know. So, yeah. So I've been doing well. I mean, I wrote this book over COVID. I also worked on getting my house refied, and then worked on my basketball shot.
All right. Do you you live alone?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Does that get like, hey, like I'm lucky. I don't go anywhere, but I do see my girlfriend, so I do have somebody to talk to. Chemda goes nowhere even more, but lives with her boyfriend. Does it?
Okay.
Does it get crazy in your head, or you good?
No. I have enough of a social network that I can reach out, but I've been pretty good in lockdown. It hasn't been a problem for me.
All right,
but,
good. Yeah, a lot of people understandably going nuts, and that's why I'm going to tell you, Wayne, about BetterHelp. I'm talking about therapy that Chemda uses. She loves it. I'm going to start using it, as a matter of fact, and I'll report back. But you can start communicating with somebody under 48 hours. Professional counseling done securely online. Tell people how much you love it, Chemda.
I really do. I just spoke to my therapist.
That's good.
You see, because Keith doesn't let me talk, but my therapist does. And that's really nice. No, I really liked him. And I've mentioned before, I was using another one for 1 or 2 sessions, I believe. And she was great, but we just didn't click. And I was afraid I would have to like break up with her. Nope. Clicked another button to find this new guy. And I love it. And again, I've said this before, but if you're not talking to someone, to me, it's not a good idea. And I know you have your best friend or your family member or your closest buddy or your spouse or whatever. Inappropriately, you might be talking to your kids. Don't do that. Go outside of your circle so that you can have a freedom that you might not even know exists, because it's like, what? It's my best friend. I could tell this person everything. But you want to have that release, that out. Try it just one time. I think even with that first therapist that we didn't necessarily click, after I first spoke to her, I'm like, wow, I just talked and talked and talked. I had things to say. And there was just this release. It's kind of like crying without even crying. It's just afterwards, you're like, oh, I did it. I'm tired. I can sleep. This is good.
Go to betterhelp.com/KATG. That's better, HELP. Join over 1 million people who've taken charge of their mental health, and they're not a mess anymore.
I'm always 1 in a million.
So that's it. Get 10% off your first month. How about that? betterhelp.com/KATG. I was hearing, I forget what interview it was, Wayne, that I was hearing you on, but you mentioned that, you keep trying to improve and be a better person all the time. You're in your 60s. Does it ever end? You're telling me.
I know you're making it sound like it's a burden.
Yeah.
No, I love it. Because I'm a naturally curious person, and I'm always trying to be a little bit better. I'm a big self-help guy. Do you read any of those books?
I read all of them.
What's your favorite, Chemda? Because I know you need to talk. I could turn by that last commercial. I know that you feel like you're being stifled in life and you need to talk more. So go ahead.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate the permission always. Yeah. That's great. Keep telling me other things about listening. My favorite is the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. I think it's a pretty thick book. I think it encompasses a lot of all the other books that I've read, like Radical Acceptance is really good. The 4 Agreements.
Yes.
That's really good. But I do think the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem is like the sort of
I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down right now. Yeah.
He's good. Brendan
Fraser.
Nathaniel Branden. Yeah.
That was close to Brendan.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm smart.
You're always reading these books, Wayne?
Not always, but I do find them helpful. Even when I was a kid I grew up in a place, it's a racially insensitive place. It's the name of it. It's called Plantation.
Long Island?
It's called Plantation, Florida. That's where it's from. And that's what it's a real place. So, but even as a teenager, I found a self-help book that helped me tremendously.
Which one?
Was called, I don't know, it sounds like the stupidest
The Grapes
title.
of Wrath.
That's a novel.
You get what you get,
Yeah. It was called Your Erroneous Zones by Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Oh, because you were a teenager and thought you were reading the erogenous zones. I get it.
Okay, so already look, I agree the education wasn't stellar in Broward County, but I knew the difference between erroneous and erogenous.
I am so glad. Age. I'm really glad you cleared that up. It wasn't enough that you're a published author. I corrected you. Good.
No. I look, I went to South Plantation High School. That's actually a pretty good assumption.
Oh, you didn't even go to North Plantation High School?
Yeah, I was in the less progressive part of Plantation.
Fuck. In Florida. Okay.
Yeah. Just imagine. Just let that sink in.
What is an erroneous zone? Like something in error?
Yes. Yeah. So this is he was just great. And a lot of those, I feel I haven't read these pillars. I don't know. They're that seems like a rather grand word to talk about.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's a secret 7th one in there.
There is another pillar?
I'd be so pissed if I get to the end and I'm learning about 6 pillars and they're like, I got another one for you. I'm like, motherfucker, what is this?
So Keith, you're not into that at all. Have you read any? Have you read 4 Agreements? The Power of Now.
I know what my love language is, and it's be nice,
Okay, yeah,
that's plenty for now.
I summarized it for him. I started something called OMAT, 1 minute at a time, and we meet every morning. And then I sort of speak in the first minute for 1 minute, and that's based on the books that I've read and the TED Talks and the psychology stuff, and that's where Keith gets all of his summaries. But you brought up The Power of Now, the only book I couldn't finish in this genre.
Right. Yeah. Well, The Power of Now it's one sentence. It's just like, be here now. Like he re-explains it over and over again. Exactly.
But you know how he re-explains it? He goes, people ask me, how do I stay in the now? And I'm like, have you been listening? Just be here now. And I'm like, what is this condescension that you're fucking talking to me about?
And I can't think of the guy's name, but maybe the worst public speaker I've ever heard. Like I heard one of his lectures and I was like,
Eckhart Tolle?
Yeah. Eckhart. One of the most condescending and slow, the worst combination. Right?
Very slow. It's like his sweater vest is talking. He dresses for the part 100%. I have listened to him, and then I listened to him a lot for how much he's such a slow talker. And then I'm like,
slow.
I think I get it. I definitely overdosed on Eckhart Tolle.
Tolle. It's Tolle. Is it Tolle or Toll?
A lot of people say Toll, but from what I understand, it's Tolle.
I swear, if I buy the wrong fucking book.
I could be wrong.
Can you imagine? I read the whole book and it's the wrong one.
He gave himself that name.
Oh, no. That makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, this is also, here's the Federman advice. Don't attack. It's the message, not the messenger. So that's why I can let the ridiculousness of Mr. Tolle go by.
I understand. But when the messenger is a bestseller and Oprah keeps fucking praising him as the only person who could ever live in the now, I have a couple of words for him. You know who's good for that? A good remedy? Dan Harris's book. And he talks about Eckhart Tolle and has a similar view of that.
Oh, he does. He has issues? Tolle issues?
Totally issues.
Got it.
That book is called 10% Happier. Very good read.
So
He's a great writer.
So because you read all these books, you could tell when one guy's shitting on another guy?
The reason why I started 10% Happier is because I was bitching to my brother Andrew about how slow this goddamn book is, The Power of Now, and I want to get through it because it's what everybody talks about when they talk about being present and all that shit. And Andrew's like, yes, I agree. And so does Dan Harris, 10% Happier. He actually shits on him. He's such a good writer.
I don't know Dan Harris, but I might. But again, it's not like every year I buy a new book, but it's like I'm always looking for something to make me a little more happy and a little more productive and a little more grateful. I feel like grateful is my key.
I'm excited.
The key ingredient to my happiness. So, Keith, I feel like you're not that. What is yours?
I'm so fucking happy. I like first of all, I like the idea of self-help beefs. That's exciting to me.
Yeah. Of course. A throwdown.
I also heard this in an interview. You were saying you're agnostic. Are you still?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What offends God more, you think? An atheist or an agnostic person.
I love it.
I don't believe at all. I think God would be like, all right, he doesn't believe at all. But then when you go to heaven, Wayne, and God's
I feel like I'm playing both sides of the thing.
I think he's going to be like, you don't know? Look the fuck around. Did a double rainbow give a clue? You're not sure yet if everything is there. You don't know. You need another sign. Did the Holocaust happen, Wayne? How do you know? You saw pictures? Were there enough pictures of me, Wayne?
Okay, I understand. Again, this is what I am. I'm skeptical about the existence of God, and he gave me a mind to be skeptical. So I'm hoping he's right now giving me points for that. Like, hey, I gave you that. Right. I gave you that critical thinking. But also, I will say that I'm sort of anti the strident atheist as well. Because those people are, because no one knows. No one knows. Because no one knows what happened right before the Big Bang, right? Even if there was a Big Bang.
I do, but it's controversial.
The thing is, I have a question.
No,
I have a question about the nobody knows thing. And it is because you're a historian. As a historian,
yes,
you know where God comes from. And I'm also like, I'm an atheist, but I used to be one of those atheists that you're talking about. And
strident atheists.
More angry,
yes.
Just because a lot of the wars started because of God and like my upbringing and all of that stuff. God doesn't have a good reputation for that. But I understand now what people talk about when they say God. I understand the comfort that the idea of this brings, the community, all of that stuff, the charity work, it's there. Mm-hmm. But the history of God makes me more solid in my atheism, because I think people used to call God what we now call science. Like they said, oh, after this part comes this part. And what they were really tracking is the weather, the universe, and calling it God. So historically, people made up this creation of this idea. So it's hard to believe in it. I believe in higher power, maybe that well, higher power, not in a deity, but in the universe is going to do what the universe does to us. That's why, we die of a lightning rod. That's just stuff that's going to happen. These big, and we're also destroying the earth. So that's how we give back to the universe. So it's not like we have control over anything, but it's not possible for me, unless you're talking about the simulation as a God.
Oh my God. Anyway, what book is that? What?
What? I think I would have preferred a strident atheist to that rambling thing. That's just what happened right there.
Are you? I got to ask.
Had to, you're a jerk if you believe in God in any way, like those guys.
Right. What percent do you believe there might be a simulation, Chemda?
I don't know. It seems like as much as as much as agnostics believe that there's a God. They don't, but they don't know how to not believe. I'm speaking for you, Wayne. How much do I believe that anything's possible? But mostly no. And then you can say like, hey, maybe this is the simulation. I'll go, okay.
It'd be the most boring game, I think, if we were in a simulation. We
were playing The Sims. That's so much more boring. So if we're playing The Sims, why isn't this amazing?
Maybe that's why. So is that where there's all disasters and stuff? Because we used to put Sims in the pool and take away the ladder? Is that what's going on in the world?
I don't know, because there's also the theory that we're not like the first simulation. We might be a simulation of the simulation. We're just a program that's running. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you light me on fire, I'm going to burn and it's going to hurt. So
I think it matters if it matters to me if I'm in a simulation.
Right. What? And I like that being on fire is your only proof that you're alive.
Thank you.
That would be your only. I'm in pain. Or I'm on fire. I guess I do exist.
Chemda said, why? What would it matter if you're in a simulation? It would change my day. If I found out, it would change my day.
Right. You wouldn't make your bed.
Right. I'm like, make me. I go, make me. Yes. I just shout it. Make me.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm not
going to do that.
Yeah. You were raised conservative Judaism? You were raised in that? Is that right? You had a bar mitzvah?
I have to say your research is phenomenal. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We couldn't tell by the name Wayne Federman, but yeah. Oh, you had a bar mitzvah. Oh.
Do you go to temple, that kind of thing?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Fight the power.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. I'm not on your team on this. I'm saying I love people that go to temple. I'm not one of them. That's all.
Oh, I hate people that go to temple.
I know.
Fucking hate it, Wayne. Pisses me off.
We used to call it shul when I was a kid. You know that word?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I get to know that word. We have a similar God who does these nose jobs.
Oh, so yes, I okay. This is what happened. I was conservative. Then I came out to Los Angeles.
If I didn't know if I liked the girl or not, I'd still have to call her sometimes. You know, you don't know if there's God, but you don't got to show up to temple. It's interesting.
No. What happened? Here's real quickly. This will take less than 30 seconds. Put me on the clock.
Go.
Conservative as a kid. Then came out to Los Angeles, joined a Reform temple called the Wilshire Boulevard Temple. I guess you can guess which street it's on.
Right.
And then, and it was that point that I was just like, this is so quasi-religious already. I'm just going to step away from the whole thing.
Oh, was it like one of those churches that I'm hearing about where it's like, no, but it's a cool priest? Like,
it's one of those things. It was literally, I asked this is an exact quote. During the High Holy Day services, I said, why aren't you wearing a tallis during the service, which is like the shawl?
Right.
I go, Rabbi, why aren't you wearing this? This is the Reform. He goes, don't call me Rabbi, just call me Steve. And I was like, all right, I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm
I don't like labels. Don't call me doctor. Just call me honey.
I was like, all right, Steve. Okay.
You're the youngest of what, 6 kids?
Well, interesting. Youngest of 4. Then my father died. My mom remarried and had 2 other kids. So I'm the youngest of the first group. And then I have 2 other half siblings younger than me.
Okay.
But I think of them as full brothers and sisters, obviously.
When did your dad pass away? How old were you?
Almost 1.
Oh, do you even remember him? Or
No. I have the same memory of him as you do.
Right.
Yeah. So, but no. So, but I do remember my mom dating.
Oh, what was that like?
Well, there was 4 of us, and she would often just introduce 2 at a time to the guy to not overwhelm the poor dude.
Was it like the 2 of you who were the most behaved that week?
That's a good.
He could come out to the kitchen, but he has to wear the same clothes that the last kid wore that came out. Same blue hat. He wears that blue hat.
Oh my God! I got to find out about this show and this guy in the blue hat with the good hearing. I don't know anything about this show.
Do you think
So for a while, I was the youngest, and then I wasn't. So I feel like I have that youngest need for attention, but I also have empathy because I'm very nurturing to kids. I was a camp counselor. Was a camp counselor, that kind of thing.
When your mom's dating, do you think that's normal? How families are at the time?
100. Great question. Your first good question.
Thank you.
That one was that. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I thought what? Yeah. Okay,
did you like them? Did you guys get along? Was one of them more of an asshole than another? Did anyone say anything inappropriate?
No, there was no inappropriate or anything like that. But it was, just remember her dating. So I just remember maybe 3 or 4 of those dudes. Okay. And then the guy she eventually married, who then eventually adopted us, his name is Federman. I was not born Federman, by the way. I know.
Wow. So
we're getting into it. This is good.
Did he sort of, I've seen these proposals where the dude proposes to the woman and then also proposes a relationship to the kid or the kids as well, where it's like, hey, I'm entering into your family. I want to have this discussion. Were you in on it? How old were you?
I was about 6, and no.
Your stepdad didn't propose to you?
It was not. Let me say, it was not a great situation. To the point that my older brother and sister, when they turned 18, went back to the original last name.
Mm.
Oh,
so yes. Why wasn't it good?
Abusive?
Yeah, I would say yes, physically and more like emotionally, more emotional. Yeah,
like a tough guy.
Just I hate to use the word rageaholic, but it's that in that area where like at any moment, like the whole family is on pins and needles at anything could set that guy off. And then besides, but I felt like getting hit as a kid wasn't that out of the ordinary to my friends that I grew up with. So I didn't feel like, oh, I'm the only kid that ever got hit by his parents,
Well, we both Keith and I grew up with fathers who had some kind of temper, and we both remember letters. So Keith, when his dad would get really upset, his mom would eventually write a letter that they all had to sign. We're very sorry for whatever we have to be sorry about, even though there's nothing happening. I remember my father, if he would get a certain level of anger, he would just stop talking to my mother, even though we all lived in the same house. And then eventually she would maybe write a card and say like, I'm sorry, I just want to be cool, whatever it is, in whatever language they speak to each other in. And so did you have that? Because I remember that pins and needles. I remember walking on eggshells, and it was whatever mood your dad is in, that's the mood the whole house is. So you sort of check on your dad. Is dad happy today? Great, we get to have a good day. Did you have to apologize for things that didn't happen or anything like that?
No, but we never did. I've never heard of like the letter or like having to send a note or a telegram, like to apologize.
An email.
No, we were more, if there was a crazy blow up and insane thing happened, it was never spoken about again.
Had that too. The next day was like a reset button. You're talking like about simulation.
Yeah.
We restarted the computer and it was like, good morning. It's like, oh, it was so traumatic last night. We're just going to leave it there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was the classic. Yes. So we were never address anything.
So what was your response?
Here's and looking back at it, I often, if one person had told me like, oh, there's something called Child Protective Services, you could like, if there was zero recourse.
Do you think that you would have that in you to call Child Protective Services? Because that's tough.
I don't know. I just would have liked to have known there was some sort of control over how my brothers and sisters and I were, treated in that house.
How did you end up responding to it?
Became a comedian.
The healthiest way.
Of course. Very healthy. Still don't, this is the most I've spoken about it in 30 years, this podcast. So, no.
Welcome.
Yeah, I became, because I was the littlest of that first group. And then the second two didn't get punished. So there was that weird thing. Okay. I think I sort of just tried to be funny and sort of the Henry Kissinger, sort of to this day, never raised my voice to that guy.
Uh-huh.
To this day, I'm in my 60s.
Is he alive?
It's that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really intense.
You want to call him now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see the grade.
Give him what for everything you've been holding in.
Yeah, I'd start crying. I'm sure he could turn it around on me in a second. He's a smart guy.
I saw one of my stepkids lost his cool when he's yelling at his mom. Like, Mom, you're stupid. And I don't mean you're acting stupid. I mean you're legitimately stupid. And then the next day I'm over and they're pals, and I'm like, man, it must be tough being a parent though sometimes, because how aren't you thrown out you're alive? You're alive, and you're asking your mom for $5 for pizza. It was a day. Oh my goodness!
Are you taking my father's position in this?
I don't know.
It did seem like that, right?
I did feel for a second. I was like, oh, maybe I was the problem as a child. Okay.
I got really quiet and there was a lot of, everyone was very funny in my house, got really quiet because you just don't know how to react to things. So you want to be the best version. It's like, you tell me what the answer is, and then I'll just go with that because I'm going to do whatever you say anyway. So Then I got really loud. And then somewhere I found the in-between. Although some people still think I'm loud. To those people, I say, you don't know what loud is.
I'll give you something I'm loud about.
I'll give you some. So that was the childhood. Good question, guys. I didn't know it was going to be digging deep like that on a Friday.
Check the calendar.
Idea. This is quite a day for me. Pfizer is in my bloodstream or in my DNA now.
Well, good Shabbos to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you a good boyfriend? Are you a honest boyfriend? Can you be trusted? You know, you're a comedian. You're everybody goes out. You're the hero. You know, things are loosey goosey. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, right now I'm not in a relationship, and for the most part, I would say yes. I feel like I'm an excellent boyfriend, but I would say I don't drink, I don't do drugs, but I would say that I have a weakness for the ladies.
Mm-hmm. I hear what you're saying, but
you can read between the lines.
Yeah. How'd you get caught?
It's not about. It's not about that.
No, it's just a coincidence.
It's just like I just feel like that is my one. I would say if I had an Achilles heel, that would be it.
What, the boundary killer for you?
No, I just find like it's maybe because I was, I graduated high school a virgin. I don't want to brag, but I was a ventriloquist.
Me too. Woo,
yeah.
Woo,
okay.
Woo,
I was a ventriloquist in high school. So I wasn't doing well with the ladies for a long time. And I don't know. I just feel like when a woman puts the high beat, like the full on attractive thing and comes in, it's really hard for me to rebuff. Really hard.
So what is that? Does that lead you into monogamous relationships that go too fast or?
No. I had a 10-year relationship with, we were basically husband and wife for a long time. Then we broke up. She is doing great now. And then I had another one for 3 years. So I can have relationships, but I feel like there's a little part of me that's weak.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it. But
here's one more book.
I have to be truthful, right? You don't want to hear. Yeah,
sure.
Another book is called Boundaries. Now, it has some Jesus stuff in it, but that Jesus stuff could be completely blacked out and it would still be a book that you can read all the way through.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Boundaries.
What's that? Why would that help him?
If you're getting pushed, like if something's making you weak, that means that it's very difficult to say no when you want to say no and yes when you want to say yes, because you're waiting for the other person's signal so that they don't run away. So your boundaries are being crossed.
I see a hot chick I'm tempted by. I throw paint on them like I'm PETA.
Oh, so they're less attractive?
Yes.
Or because you want to mark them as yours?
Mark is get the fuck out of here, temptress. I tell women not to smile. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That just sounds hostile. Just all that doesn't sound like this poor woman is just like a friendly woman. Oh, I was just smiling at this guy. Next thing you know, there's I'm gonna go blue paint because that's the theme of today's show with the hat and thing.
And people say I'm the aggressive one.
Yeah, he sounds very aggressive.
Right. Work out your issues.
So, but that's interesting. Chemda, that's really, yeah, I would say it was very quiet in the house and then very, way more funny and outgoing at school. And that's sort of how my career started, was like at school. It's like, oh, he's the funny guy at school.
That makes a lot of sense.
Can you ventriloquist something for me right now?
I'll show you a little bit. Yeah.
Yay.
I wasn't great at it, so just get ready for that. Okay. What I would do is lower my regular voice. So the other voice is so there's more of a difference between the two. Got it?
Okay. I think I'm
going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. I'll tell you the trick. I'm hearing audience is he tries to shake his head real fast so you don't see his lips.
Hello. How are you? I love it here.
Oh, that's really good.
Hello.
There's no such thing as throwing your voice, right?
Correct.
Because, man, what a superpower that would be, right? I'd be doing the movie theaters all day long. Fuck you. Let's fight.
Exactly.
Great.
No.
Okay. Once again, look at where he goes to, throwing his voice so he could start fights.
I know. What is it? Okay, should we dive into Keith's childhood some more?
This whole 16 years of podcasting was diving into Keith. Holy shit.
So of the 3,386 podcasts you've done, or how many it is, how many have been about Keith and his issues with his childhood growing up in Canton, Ohio? Is that right? I'm guessing Canton.
We have its own link, keithandthegirl.com/dad. DAD.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love it.
And it's all there. So yeah, I guess it's been a bit. Silent Trailers, of course, get your tickets right now. It's tomorrow. It's on Saturday night. And Chemda saw another movie.
Yes,
so we have Drop Dead Fred. We have Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And now a third movie she just saw, Taxi Driver.
What?
I
Martin
finally
Scorsese,
saw
1976, with Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro.
You really are a historian.
Yeah, I know it.
And also, what's her name is in it? I didn't know that. Nobody gives her the credit.
Sybil Shepherd.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sybil Shepherd is in it.
She was great.
Obviously, Jodie Foster is the kid.
That's
and
right.
You know
Very
who else
creepy.
who has a great little part in that movie, bringing it all back to comedy? Albert Brooks.
Which one is that one?
Was he another cab driver?
No, he wasn't. He was part of the political team working for that senator.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
And now Chemda's review on Taxi Driver.
Okay. First of all, I was watching it with Xerxes, and as we've spoken about before, I don't mind when he's on his phone and we're watching a movie, as long as he knows that I am just watching a movie. So if he wants to talk in the middle of the movie, you either talk in between the lines or you press pause, or I'm not going to hear either one of you. So we're watching the movie. He's a little on his phone. And then just as we're getting to the part, like, are you talking to me? I'm like fucking amped. I'm like, this is it. Are you talking to me? And I'm about to turn to him and go, this is talking to me thing. He puts his phone in front of the screen and goes, did you see this article? And I'm like,
in front of your face. Oh, in front of the TV screen.
I'm like, there's no way you're watching this movie if in the middle of are you talking to me, you're showing me an article. You know this is the part. And he goes, in my defense, the movie is very boring. And I agree.
This is your boyfriend. This is your boyfriend, right?
Yes.
You chose him, right? Okay.
This is of all the people. You chose this guy.
And let me tell you why.
Yes.
I agree. What the fuck is this movie? This is the movie that you people are fucking quoting. Are You Talking to Me is done 1,000 times better by other people. And then this scene, Are You Talking to Me? And I get it. So we were talking to Matt B about it. And I think he's right that because we saw iterations of Are You Talking to Me, it's going to seem a little tired by the time I see it from the main actor, because everyone else exaggerated it and gave it its own thing, and it became this massive thing. But holy shit.
But that shouldn't be the whole movie. And by the way, they say that Robert De Niro ad-libbed that. So the only part that we talk about in that movie wasn't even written down. That movie is a slog. I saw it as an adult. It's a slog.
I think it could have been done in an hour. I know that, like, okay, Wayne he's about to leave. He's about to press the button. He's hovering over it, leaving Zoom. Yeah, I think it could have been shorter. I think because of the history, we're looking at old cab drive, you know, the old cabs, the old New York. And we're also talking about, like, apparently you can go into a bodega, kill a black guy, give the evidence to the bodega guy who was getting robbed, and go, I don't know, it's not registered. And that guy goes, I'll take care of it. Beats the shit out of the dead guy on the floor. That's all we hear about that. No one's worried about getting caught. I get it. He's a psychopath. But writing a psychopath means that you can actually just fucking go, I just shot that. That's the end of that storyline. Anyway, I'm going to go shoot some other people. I'm crazy. The end.
Wayne?
Well, it's an interesting takedown of a classic movie. I mean, there's again, it's like the Richard Pryor thing. There's no right or wrong.
Your face said otherwise. I'm sorry.
First of all, I feel in a little way, what's his name? Xerxes? Is that your boyfriend's name?
Yes.
In a way, Xerxes might have influenced your opinion because there was a guy texting and talking, and it sounds like more than just texting, like he was scrolling and coming up with websites for you to look at during this movie.
Now, if
you saw, I don't know, Titanic, and there was a guy next to you talking during the whole movie and showing you websites, I assume you like Titanic. You seem like the type.
I don't know how to tell you this. I thought Titanic was stupid.
Okay, so you don't like Titanic. Give me a movie you like. Give me a movie you like. Clueless.
What is wrong with you, Wayne? Is this the fucking...
What are these chicks like?
Is this the vibe you're getting? You're great with women.
I'm terrible. Obviously, that's why I'm alone.
Fucking Clueless? I'm 45 years old.
Yeah, I think that would have been okay. That's what I'm saying.
That's my favorite movie.
Yeah, from that time, I thought you might like that movie. Okay, give me what is it? All right? Let me do another guess. It's going to be terrible. Okay, let's do
Burlesque.
The Artist. Are you that? You like the silent those movies? You like that?
No, but I like this. This is almost silent trailers, but for me, what else?
Okay, wait. I'll give you another movie.
Yeah.
I'm just doing like Best Picture winners at this point.
Oh, good luck with that.
How about Spotlight? Did you like that?
I don't think I saw that.
Did you like that? What was it about, Wayne?
It was about the priest handling the kids inappropriately in Boston.
In a not nice way. Did you like that?
Nice way, yeah. Do you like that?
Okay. Although if we're talking about priest and inappropriate.
Wait, I got one for you. I got one.
Okay.
Starts with an A, ends with an O. Argo. Is that your kind of movie?
Argo, fuck yourself?
Yeah.
No. I don't know if I saw it. I don't think I saw it.
Okay. All right. Give me an example, because these are all Best Picture.
Let me give you an example.
You see The Hurt Locker.
Let me give you an example. We created a show called Silent Trailers because
I don't know. You keep pushing this thing.
Yeah. I don't know movies so fucking bad that there's an entire game show around me trying to guess what the fuck I'm looking at. And most of the time, it's shit that everybody knows. And I'm like, look, this movie title, I've never heard of it, but maybe you guys will like it.
Well, give me an example of a movie. I get it now that you're not a movie buff. I assume this has something to do with your dad and your childhood, but let's hear about it.
Yes.
Give me an example of a movie you like.
Well, this is hard. I hate when people ask what's my favorite. And I know you're not asking that. I know you're not asking that. But then all of a sudden I go blank. But the first movie that comes up for me is Heavenly Creatures. That was really good. What's the movie you mentioned? A priest and inappropriate touching. What's the movie? Here we go. Silent Trails. The movie
Edward
with
Norton.
The guy. Yes. Who also. Yeah, Edward Norton. He was a kid. It was like one of his first movies.
No, it is his first movie. Yeah. What is the name of that movie? Yeah.
One word, I think.
It is. I can't think of the name of it right now. That's incredible.
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. It's double one word.
Thank you.
Wayne said one word. Kenda said one word.
We got it. It's nice. It's nice the way we work together.
Got to get Wayne on Silent Trailers. I think he'll do well.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a movie buff. So I'm the opposite. Okay.
So is Keith. That's how we started.
Oh, well, that sounds great. That sounds like a great game then. I apologize. I didn't know that you were like, that wasn't your thing.
That's okay. Clueless. Just go with that next time you speak to a woman.
First of all, Clueless is a really good movie. And I thought that would have hit you like when you were a younger person and you would be like, God, this is funny and interesting. And there's more to it. I totally get it, but I don't want to be proud about that. You know, I like Mean Girls. That was good. Okay, that's what I feel like. That's in the same kind of genre, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
you did it.
All right.
That's in the same genre for you broads, right? Yeah, I follow. Wayne Federman's book is called The History of Stand-Up. It's the same title as his podcast, which was excellently put together as well, Wayne.
Thank you. From Mark Twain to Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mark Twain was the first stand-up. Yes.
No, even though it is in the book, there's actually a guy that he saw doing a version. There was no such thing as a stand-up because the term hadn't been invented, but standing on stage, getting laughs for like an hour or something. He had seen a guy named, believe it or not, you ready for his name? Artemis Ward. Does that sound like an old-fashioned name or what?
Better than Chemda, right?
I don't know. I don't know why you're attacking yourself. That's weird.
I'm sorry. I'm a good person.
I know.
People love me.
Oh, you're doing affirmations?
Who was that when the first stand-up actually stood up?
Yeah.
Did it blow people's minds? They're like, oh, shit, you're standing up.
That's not really the trick to the whole thing. I don't think you know what the art form is about. It's called stand-up, but it's not just about just standing there.
When doing the history for this book, what surprised you the most? Because you know about the history of comedy, but you must have had to research more. What was surprising?
Well, here's something I thought was interesting, that the first kind of entertainer, she wasn't quite a stand-up, but she did do jokes and impressions and songs. This woman named Elsie Janis was the first one ever to perform overseas for the troops in a war zone during World War I. in France.
And
before there was a USO, before Bob Hope, before any of that stuff.
Wow.
She was the first one, very brave, and a lot of people. The first person to host the Academy Awards, the first comedian to host the Academy Awards was a guy named Will Rogers. You may have heard, maybe you haven't, but that started like comedians hosting that show. This continued with Billy Crystal. You're not a movie buff, so I don't know if you know the Oscars. This big award.
I don't know the Oscars. I do know Billy Crystal. He was in a movie where someone had an orgasm, and also separately in a movie where
Harry
people
Met Sally.
played basketball.
Right? Yeah, that referee where he played a referee. Yeah.
When stand-ups sit down, does it make you nervous? Like, not the worst part, but that's a pretty ballsy thing.
You mean like all of a sudden the stool, or suddenly they saunter over to the stool?
When Bill Cosby would sit down on a lounger, are you like, the hard part's actually standing up? And
it's literally, I don't know what to tell you, Bill Cosby, but it's literally called stand-up.
Yeah. That's I was offended by him early on. Yeah.
Right. That's the most offensive thing.
It's pushing it. Pushing it. One man's opinion.
Just one person's opinion. There was comedians that sat on stools. There was a guy named Shelley Berman. Are you familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm? That show?
Of course.
Yeah. He played Larry's dad on that show.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was a comedian, and he started in the late 50s. And he would sit on a stool. And so at the time, the critics did call him a sit-down comedian.
Is that the ultimate goal of a comedian, to be able to sit down and the audience still respects you?
I think finally maybe just lay down.
Right.
Just like the ultimate.
Just lay down and eat a submarine sandwich.
Don't even hold the microphone. Just like have it there on the ground. And
have someone hold a boom mic for you. That's when you've made it.
The laziest comic of all time.
The mic's on the ground, your hands under your chin, elbows on the floor, maybe a leg kicked up, bored.
Yeah, it's very casual, very casual. So, but there's something now called front-facing comedians. Are you familiar with them?
What?
The reason I write about you guys is because you're part of this digital wave that sort of boosted comedy in a big way.
Also, thank you for including us. That's cool.
Well, of course, you're pioneers. And then, so the podcasting, like funny people on podcasting, entertainment, created a lot of interesting comics. And now there's comedians who use their phone.
Yeah.
No audience, not in front of a crowd, not standing up on stage. Just do it right to their phone. They might lip sync something. You may have heard of a woman who got a deal for that named Sarah Cooper. There's another, or they may do a Instagram live show right from their phone. They're called front-facing comedians. And they're sort of like, we don't have to do all this baloney, go to a club, 2-drink minimum, sit in a crowd, dude. We can be funny this way. So
are they are they standing up when they do it?
That's a good question.
That's important to me. It's still important to me.
I love that you're fixated on that.
It's interesting. Hilarious. Well, it is the name.
Yeah, it's only what it's called, Wayne. I don't know why you wouldn't be fixated on
it. You can follow him online. Follow at Federman, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
See what's doing. Okay. And remember, is the college course still going on?
Yes. I'm unfortunately still doing it on Zoom.
Okay.
And but I think in the fall we're going to be back in the classroom. But yeah.
What's the most distracting thing about being a teacher on Zoom? Like the fact that you're not wearing pants, or like someone else's shit.
Someone else took a shit? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Please take me literally the whole time.
That's also happened.
I'm learning for Keith. This is the one thing I've learned that Keith's comedy all comes from literal. Be literal.
Do people have to have their camera on?
Yes, they have to have their camera on for my class. Although I will say there's a rule in the school that you can't compel them to do that.
And I get that, but it would throw you off.
Well, yeah, because they're like, maybe the kid doesn't have as much money as the other kid, and their background looks kind of sketchy, or they're in a closet or something like that. Something's just embarrassing for everyone.
Oh, I see what you did. Because I'm in the closet. Okay.
I come from love. I come from love.
Very cute. Very cute.
I would. This seems like, and you get credits for this class. This is real.
Shockingly Yes.
Yeah.
Until I get fired. Yes. Until
and then you take it, you give them a test, and the answer is it's all opinion.
You're such a jerk.
I know. No. In his weird passive aggressive way, he's 100% correct.
Always.
You were 100.
He's always 100% correct in a weird passive aggressive way. It's never just like a regular correct.
Yeah. I was like, he is making a point and he's mocking me and he's 100% correct. Here's something they told me. This is going to blow your mind. I know we have to go.
No, go.
When I first took the job, again, I'm an adjunct professor, not an adjunct professor. That means not a professor. The guy who hired me, the dean, was like, you can't grade on talent. So you're like, I can't grade if they're funny or not funny. They're like, no. I'm like, okay.
What do you grade based on?
What are we doing here?
Right.
The background, the closet space.
I said, well, if you were teaching a writing class, you could grade on whether they go, yes, but that's specific. Like, are they using grammar correctly? Are they the thing? So no, I have to just grade on effort. Unfortunately.
What does that mean? Effort.
That means if they do all the assignments, they get an A.
That's exactly weird.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's weird.
How does that hit you?
That's how it hit her. You heard that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something though if the teacher's like, who was in the French and Indian War? And you're like, my opinion?
I wasn't there. It's like God. I mean, I'm only reading what other people tell me to think.
Wayne, it's very nice meeting you. Congrats again.
Oh my God. Thank you. And it's a thrill to meet you guys. Been writing your names, tricky spelling, obviously. And I think I got it correct.
You said it perfect.
Yeah.
I before he, except in all these fucking situations. It's hard. Yeah. Even my name is wrong. You know what I mean? Oh, well. Good luck growing up with that.
Your name is passive aggressively correct.
Right.
Oh my God.
But that's
so
it.
Fun.
That's it, Wayne. Thank you again. Don't forget to get your silent trailer tickets. You have to get the backstage tickets tonight. And that's that. All right. Have a great weekend.